Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with another episode of The Company Next Door. I'm here with Liz Robinson.
Hi.
From Ted's Shooting Range. Did I get that right? Shooting Range?
Shooting Range, that is correct.
All right, so how are you doing, Liz?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome. Why is it called Ted's?
That's a good question. Ted was the original majority owner of the business. He started it almost 11 years ago with 4 other people. They had somebody in here running it, wasn't doing so good. They brought a young gal in named Amanda Krugen. She started running it. She and I hooked up, and she and I started running it. Within a year, we were both owners and running the business. Ted and the others were more silent partners. And then a year ago, we bought them out.
Okay, so now it's not Ted's.
It's not Ted's.
So are you changing the name or no? Because it's kind of
We would like to, but unfortunately, Amanda and I have done such a great job promoting it that it's really hard to change.
Right, because you put so much into the branding, and then if you change it might confuse people.
Yep.
So right now, it's just the two of you.
It's just the two of us.
Women-owned company.
Yep.
How's that going?
Great. We haven't killed each other yet. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's really good. We have a really good relationship, and we've had a lot of fun doing this.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Are you from this area originally?
No, I'm actually a native Californian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are leaving California right now, coming to this area.
Yeah, I've been here 30 years.
Okay, so you were way ahead of the curve.
I was way ahead of the curve, yeah.
Where in California?
Orange County.
Oh, where? I'm just curious.
El Toro, Mission Viejo.
Okay, my wife is from Yorba Linda.
Okay, right around the corner.
Yeah, it's a nice area. It is. It was apparently really nice, and now it's getting a little more crowded, but still nice.
It's not bad. Down where we are, it's not too bad.
And so did you grow up on the beach? Were you a beach bum girl?
I was a beach bum, yeah.
Okay.
Beach bum, ski bum, yeah.
And did you, as a kid, did you say one day I want to own a shooting range, a gun club?
No, but I knew one day I wanted to have a business. So.
Really?
Yeah.
At a young age?
Very young. I grew up with a family business.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so your father or mother?
My father.
And what was he?
He was group purchasing for hospitals and nursing homes.
Okay.
And built a very successful business. We sold a few years ago. And just always part of the business and liked it. Wanted to have my own business someday. Did
you, as a kid, get to work for that? Was all the family involved?
I did. When I was 8 years old, I was a janitor. So was a janitor, got in my teens, worked in the office till I got married and went away.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so you grew up with this idea. Was it stable as a kid, like your parents' business already? Sometimes early in business,
we had up and downs.
Yeah.
We had up and downs. There were a few times they thought it was going to go under, and it didn't, and it did really good.
And so as a kid, because one of the reasons I asked, a lot of people I interviewed with their parents were entrepreneurs and had their own company. They tend to say, I never want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's funny that you were like, I like it. So it must have been good.
It was fun. Yeah. I like business. It's fun.
Okay, cool. So you were in Orange County, and then how did you get from there to
my husband was with the aerospace industry.
Okay.
And he was actually on the Star Wars Defensive during Reagan.
Wow.
And that started taking a dive. And so he switched with TRW over there to TRW here, airbags. And so that's how we got here.
And that was the 30 years ago?
30 years ago. Yeah, almost exactly 30 years ago in about 2 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you came to Arizona and you, like you said, as a kid, you had this, you knew you wanted to be in business of some sort because you like business. What is it about business that you like? What intrigues you?
You know, even when I had kids and wasn't working, I had a business. I did bookkeeping. I cut wood. I was always doing something just to keep my mind busy and occupied. I loved being a mother. I was a stay-at-home mother.
How many kids?
I have 3.
Okay.
So I was a stay-at-home mom. Loved it. No complaints there. But I was always doing something on the side. Just something different to keep my mind busy, occupied.
So you said cutting wood?
Yeah, I did.
What is that? What does that look like?
Oh, back in the old days, we did toll painting. We cut out the little wood figures and did it, and I did some office work and stuff, some built-ins and stuff. So it was fun.
So having 3 kids wasn't busy enough for you?
They were good kids.
Okay.
They were good kids.
Yeah. So you always had a side hustle?
I always had something going on, yeah.
When did business become, your kids are getting older, I assume, to have
I'm a grandma.
Oh, you're a grandma now. Okay.
Grandma, yeah, I'm a little bit older.
That's awesome. So you're grandma. So when did you kind of put more of your time and energy into like a business instead of like a side hustle? When
I started working up here. When I started up here as a teacher, as one of the instructors. So that was self-employed, doing my own thing, setting my own times, and then I just kind of fed into this and helping run it.
So as a teacher, were you like a contractor then? Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And when you say teacher, so we'll introduce what you guys do. You have, I know I walked in this morning, there was a line of people trying to get in. So there's classes here on...
Anything. Intro to learning how to use a handgun, to your concealed carry classes. We've got some defensive classes, intermediate classes, all sorts of fun classes.
Gotcha. So you got that going on, and then there's a store out front.
There's a retail store.
So there's a retail store, and then there's also a range here, right?
We have a 20-lane range, AC, indoor. Yeah.
So it's kind of three...
Well, we also have a dive shop at the end of the building.
So 4 different channels.
Yes.
A dive shop, so scuba diving.
Scuba diving.
And how does that work? You teach it, or...?
Yeah. Amanda and I are both certified instructors.
Wow.
So it's kind of fun.
So
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you guys are like outdoor, like adventurers.
Oh, yeah.
At heart.
Yeah.
You've traveled a lot, done a lot of adventures? Or?
I mostly in the United States. Amanda's traveled the world. I mostly in the United States, a little bit out of state, out of country, but mostly in.
Yeah. Huh.
Love the outdoors.
Yeah.
Grew up loving it.
Okay, so as a mom of 3 kids with a side hustle, were you then, I mean, because clearly you know how to shoot if you're teaching it.
Yeah.
So were you out scuba diving, shooting guns, taking your kids along, or was this something that turned into your later in life? I
started shooting when I was very young. My sister tells the story that she was babysitting me and came in. I had a gun under a toy gun.
Okay.
When toy guns were cool, and I still think they're cool. A toy gun under my pillow, and she goes, "What are you doing?" "I'm protecting myself from the bad guys." I mean, this is like 3 years old.
Wow.
So I've always loved guns. I was more the tomboy versus the doll girl, and so I've always loved guns. My kids started shooting 3 and 4.
Wow.
Very young. My grandkids have started shooting very young. I'm a firm believer the younger they are, the safer they're going to be, the less chance of having a problem with firearms in your home. Mm-hmm. Education, best thing you can do for them.
Let me ask you a question on that. You see all kinds of stats sometimes, or I do anyway, about this, gun safety. Education, do you think, like most people that are shot in the home by accident, is that, do you think education would prevent all that?
It would help.
Okay.
A lot of it is, it's not the gun's fault. It's the person holding the gun. I mean,
it's the user. Yeah.
It's the user. It's user fail. You know, they did something they shouldn't have been doing. They're thinking the gun's unloaded, breaking the number one rule is they're always loading. They break that rule and they're playing with it and it goes off and somebody gets hurt. So, or they're careless and they leave the gun where they shouldn't have it and somebody gets it that doesn't know what they're doing with it.
Gotcha.
That's where education for the kids and stuff is very important.
What about the gun? What is it you love since you were a kid? Is there...
I don't know. It's just, maybe it's, you know, it's kind of like picking up a piece of china and throwing it on the ground. It gives you that kind of that.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like going in there and putting holes in paper. It's just, you know, and it's a skill and it's a sport anybody can do. And you don't have to be strong to be competitive in it. I mean, I see women go in there and beat their husbands all the time.
Wow.
And, you know, it can be competitive in a different way without having to have muscles or bronze. You know,
Gotcha.
it's just a skill.
So it's more of a level playing ground.
Oh, yeah,
Everyone kind of doesn't matter.
It really is.
Pre-training or what you eat your drink. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, so it makes it very level. So it's great.
So you said there was these 4 channels. You have the store, the classes, the scuba, and the gun range.
Yep.
How do you and Amanda divvy that up? Like, do you oversee some of them? Does she oversee them? Do you do it all together? I saw a lot of staff out there, so you have a good team.
We have a fabulous team out there, and I'm very happy with our team. They do a great job. They're very conscious. Amanda and I, she is really fantastic with the inventory. I'm more the numbers, the finance end, making sure we have the money to do what we need to do, and that it's going in the right places. As far as personnel and running it, that portion, we do a lot. I do the maintenance. The rest of it, we pretty much do together.
Wow. How have you said you had a great team. Has that been a struggle for you guys to find good people on the team and train them and keep them happy? Or what's that been like? Because that's one of the hardest problems right now out in business. Yeah.
Well, I was raised with a family business. And all my brothers worked for the family business, 2 brother-in-laws. And so I was raised with them treating everybody like your family. And so we kind of run this business like a family. And I think it makes a difference. makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be hard because it is retail. You don't make a lot of money in retail.
Right.
If you're on the floor and stuff, that's just retail. So that makes it hard, but we do get a good crew in here.
So when you took over, how long has it been since it was you and Amanda? Just a year, you said? Or it's been a while, but then you fully bought him out a year ago.
Yeah, they pretty much let us run it. I mean, we'd have a board meeting once a year, and we'd talk, and we'd go over the financials, and Ted would show up every once in a while and say, hey, I'm Ted. And that was pretty much it. So pretty much we've been running it from the get-go.
Has it always been those 4 channels, or was that something you guys added on?
The dive shop, we pretty much added on when we moved into this building. My husband and I own the building, and then Amanda and I own the businesses inside. And so when we knew we were buying out the other partners, we took over one of the classrooms, turned it into a dive shop. The teaching, we've had that from day one, the retail store since day one.
Which side is the most profitable? I'd be curious. Does it kind of break out evenly, or is there one or...
The range.
The range?
The range. I think with a shooting range and a retail store, it evens it out. When we get in our slow time of the year, then the range picks up, or the retail store. So it's a good combination, and I think you'll see more and more where you're going to have a range with a store because it balances it out. Gotcha.
So it's kind of, and you kind of need them together. It seems like
you do, and you have to realize, the last. Our business is pushed a lot by political. I hate to say it, but it has been.
Sure,
and that's what's helped grow our business. That, and I think we have probably one of the best customer service in this industry around.
So how was it surviving the past year?
It's been rough.
Yeah. No, some people have had their best year ever, and some have had an awful year.
We've had our best year ever. I mean, I don't even, when we look at the books, I don't even like to count this year because it's so exaggerated. And it's been fabulous. It's been wonderful. It's gotten more people in here. It's been great because a lot of the people, people don't realize it, and I hope nobody takes offense to this, but most of our first-time buyers have been the liberals and the Democrats coming in here and buying guns because they've been, no guns, and now they're realizing, hey, we need these to protect. And it's been great. So we have such a mix of people in here.
Wow.
That you wouldn't imagine, yeah.
So the dynamic, would you say it's shifted a little bit here, culturally, as far as...
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, we still have, because guns are predominantly a conservative, Republican type of political platform.
Sure.
But the pandemic and people not being able to protect themselves, the riots at the beginning and all that stuff, people were scared. And so it's been great, but that also, I've been thrilled because they're more leaning towards taking classes. And so our classes have been overwhelmingly bigger than they've ever been. And so I like that because I like the education. I like people buying a gun for the first time, and I want to learn everything there is about it.
Do you feel like then you are making a difference when you have someone who's never shot a gun, they come in and take a class, and I mean, because that sounds like if you believe that's so important, you feel like you're actually making a good impact.
I feel like it, yeah. We're making a difference in the world. I'm hoping I'm making it safer and opening people's eyes that this is really a lot of fun. And it's not, I don't look at a gun as a weapon, which a lot of people do. It's a tool of a sport that I love to use, just like a tennis racket. And a gun is not a weapon unless you use it as a weapon. Just like the water bottle is a weapon if you throw it at somebody.
Sure.
If you're not throwing it at anybody, it's just a water bottle. It's the same with a firearm. It's not a weapon unless it's being used as a weapon. And 90% of the time, it's not being used as a weapon.
It's a sport.
It's a sport.
So is that what you think is the biggest myth out there that you're trying to, or stereotype that you're trying to break down?
Guns are bad. They're not bad. You put a gun on a table that's loaded. It can't hurt. I've had that with some of our classes, especially the women. They just, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to. Yeah. It just does so much damage. It kills people. And I said, okay, I'm going to put this gun on the table. And they go, yeah. And I go, who's this gun going to kill? And they go, what do you mean? I said, can't get up off the table and walk around and shoot people. And they go, oh, I never thought of it that way. It's just like a car. Cars kill more people than guns. So, take your pick.
But yet the guns have this kind of negative violent.
So that makes this a very interesting industry for women.
It does.
To be in.
I got to be honest. I've never shot a whole lot. Grew up in New Jersey, and I remember it's a place where they're very monitored. It wasn't easy to get a gun.
Yeah.
And I've kind of always felt that way too, like a little bit afraid of them because I don't know them.
But that fear it's like when you get in a car. You need to have that little bit of fear to keep you from doing really stupid things in a car.
Right.
So that little bit of fear, it's okay. It's letting it control you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've taught personally women that have been through some horrific things, and you get them in there and they start crying and they get emotional because they're gaining a power back that they feel they've lost because of situations they'd been in. And it's giving them a power that they can take care of themselves. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty insightful.
Yeah, it's really cool.
When you say things like, are you talking about like women that have been divorced and like just been through some hard things, like traumatizing things?
Yeah, I had a woman that's husband was being done with a gun and killed himself in front of her. Being done with a gun that they said was unloaded. She hadn't touched a gun in 20 years. And it was something she loved to do. And it was giving her back a sport she loved.
Wow.
I've had women that have had boyfriends put guns in their mouths, say they're going to blow their brains out. And it's been really crazy. And they feel like they're getting control back of their life. The gun wasn't the bad guy. They're getting control. Wow. And so that's so rewarding.
I was going to say, that sounds like that'd be an incredible experience to help them
rewarding.
kind of walk through it and realize, like you said, it's not the problem, it's the user.
It's the user. Yeah. It's the user, definitely.
Wow.
Guns aren't the problem. It's the user.
So it sounds like you get quite a bit of satisfaction. There are things here that are satisfying.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of fun. Watching the kids out there come in with their parents, it just is fun.
Wow. What about on the business side? I know you said, well, actually before that, you mentioned earlier when I asked you about how this past year was, you said it was exaggerated. Do you remember that?
Oh, it's so huge. Our numbers are so crazy. But sales. It's just been, you can't count it because the numbers are so off the charts.
Do you think it's going to stay that way, or do you think it was?
I think our numbers are going to stay high, not like that.
Okay.
Because people were buying out of panic, and we tried really hard to say, why are you buying this? Oh, just calm down. Just relax. It's all going to be fine. But I think numbers are going to be high because you've introduced, I can't even remember the number, but it's in the millions new shooters this year.
Wow, I had no idea.
New first-time home buyers was in the millions somewhere.
I had no idea.
Somewhere in the millions. And they're learning it's fun. And so it's a whole different avenue of people coming in. It's great.
Have you ever had someone come in that was, I guess because you said you try to find out sometimes. I don't know, I watch movies, I guess. Have you ever seen someone come in that like, you felt, I don't know if they should have a gun? Like, does that happen? Like where you're like, you just get something's not happening good? Or
we've had people come in wanting to use the range and we've politely, kindly said, not today. You know, you just get a feel. And we leave that up to our employees to tell people yay or nay. And that's our right.
Yeah.
It's an interesting industry. So you have the right to say no. And we have the right to say, no, you're not buying a gun. Even if they can pass a background check. Somebody comes in and says, I want to go do this and this to somebody. I'm not selling them a gun. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, for sure.
No way. No.
Interesting. It's interesting for me to hear that the industry's kind of taken off this year. I had no idea.
Oh, huge.
That's really
huge.
Interesting.
Yeah, big time. So
what is your role here? So I know you love the numbers. Do you do the teaching?
I do teaching.
What is it that, or do you just do what you want to do? Like what? How does
I do what I want to do, pretty much.
Which is teaching.
Teaching.
Regularly. Like how often are you teaching?
I teach a couple times a month. I mostly do the CCW classes because I get so busy that.
What's CCW?
That's the concealed carry permit class. I do an intro class periodically just because I like to keep up, and I like doing it. That's the beginner class. I'm out on the floor helping people. I'll check people in. I'll go out on the range and help people. So I have a lot of fun.
So it sounds like this area in Arizona has been pretty good. It was a good move from California.
It was a good move.
Happy with it.
It was a very good move.
And your partner, Amanda?
Mm-hmm, Amanda.
Is she from this area as well?
She's originally from Minnesota.
Okay. She have an accent?
No.
Okay.
She's been here, I want to say she was 10 or 11 when she moved here.
Okay.
So she's been here a long time.
I know you were both working here. And did you just develop the relationship while you were working here? I mean,
just a good friendship.
Okay.
We developed a really good friendship.
That happened here?
Yeah, happened here.
Because partnerships can be tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any advice on partnerships for anyone that might be thinking, I'm going to start a company, I need a partner?
Well, I think one thing is you don't want to be the same. I mean, we're different. And she's young enough to be one of my kids.
Wow.
And but we get along really good. We do have our times where we get at each other, which is normal, but we also know when to back down and stuff and just getting along. But I think it's the diversity that we are. That's why we work. Yeah. If we're both the same, then we're not going to reach out and see other things differently.
Gotcha. You each have different strengths.
Yeah.
When you guys have those times because that's one of the potential problems with partnerships.
Oh, yeah.
Is you can butt heads.
We butt heads.
Yeah.
We talk it out. And
I was going to ask you, can you tell me a little about the conflict resolution? Because that's such a big key to why so many businesses fail in partnerships. They can't talk.
We talk it out. Because I look at it like a family. I look at her as part of my family, and we talk it out, and you don't walk away from family. So you talk it out, and you work it out, and sometimes I give, and sometimes she gives. It's just a mutual give-take relationship, as in any relationship. It's a give and take.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to things like, I don't know, let's say you had an employee or a team member that was kind of not following protocol or just disappointed in performance, would you handle that? Would Amanda, or would you?
We handled quite a bit of it. We have a manager and an assistant manager that we're kind of letting them do some of that stuff. So we have more time for other things like sitting here doing a podcast with you. We're trying. It's hard. Letting go a little bit. It's very hard. It's like
it is hard
because then you're not two people with different points of view. You're now four people with different points of view, and our manager and assistant manager are both men.
Okay.
And so they have to put up with the women. 2 women,
2 men.
Yeah.
How about any advice on letting go? Anything you've learned that could be helpful?
Don't hold on to somebody too long.
Okay.
That's one thing I've learned. If you have an employee that just is not working out, don't hold on to them for too long. It just makes it miserable for everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah. I guess sometimes it's hard to tell because you think, I'm going to give them a little more time, and you're thinking it's going to work out. Sometimes it's hard to know when it's like, all right, this is not good. Are there any clear warning signs that you've learned where it's like, no, we got to change this? I
listen to my employees a lot, not just the management, it's the employees. Yeah. If everybody's kind of giving me the same information,
right,
then it's probably really not a good thing because it's causing problems on the floor, and you can't have that.
Yeah.
And you don't want tension out there.
No, you don't. And
it's no fun.
Culture right now is so important in business.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You've got to have, and so when you have someone that's kind of going against that culture, it kind of is like pollution to the rest of the team.
Well, yeah, and we have such a good rapport with our customers and stuff that, that's one of our biggest things. If we have 3 legitimate complaints against an employee, they're gone.
Okay.
And they have to be legitimate. And we verify it through video. We verify it through other employees that were there at the situation. And we've had it a couple times where we've had to let them go because of that situation. And there's some things we just won't tolerate, period.
What are those things?
Well, I won't tolerate racism.
Okay, that's great.
I'll be really honest with you. I don't care what color. I don't care what your religion is.
Yeah.
I don't care which way you orient. I don't care. This isn't about this. You walk in here, we're neutral.
Yeah, it's business.
Yeah,
we're helping people. We're serving people.
I won't tolerate it. I won't tolerate it in my employees. I won't tolerate it in my customers.
Wow.
You want to be that way? There's the door.
Wow.
Be respectful.
Yeah.
We've been called racist.
Really?
Oh yeah, we've been called.
Because you won't tolerate racism.
Well, yeah, we had a couple come in and they were Asian. And they did a review on us saying that we didn't like Asians and we didn't like women. And
you don't like women?
We don't like women.
2 women orders. Okay.
They had no clue. And it's even funnier because they wouldn't let us respond back to them. And one of our employees is Asian, but 3 of my grandkids are half Thai. I love Asian people. My daughter-in-law is Asian. I have no problem with Asian people. My husband spent 2 years in an Asian culture. My son did. And so I'm just like, it just irritated me and plus the business is owned by 2 women.
So their complaints, there was no truth to them.
No. So, I don't see color. And that's part of the problem. Too many people see color. I don't see color.
Yeah, a person's a person.
A person's a person. Attitude.
Yeah. So that actually brings up an interesting thing because, the internet on one side is incredible, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get great Google reviews and Google sees that. You get better, search optimization. You get higher rankings.
Yeah.
But the downside is stuff like this. You can have a customer or sometimes not even a customer. You can have someone come in and write a complete non-truth about your business.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole world sees it.
Yep. And that's the one they see.
Yeah, right. They'll see 300, 400 good reviews, and there'll be 3 of those ones.
Yeah.
How do you...
Well, I contacted, I think it was Yelp. I think it was on Yelp. I contacted them and said, look, there's no way this is founded. And they said, well, that's their opinion. And I said, well, it's owned by 2 women, and I have Asian grandchildren, and I have Asians working for me.
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
They go, yeah, we can't take it down. I'm like, that's not fair. And now looking back, is it because it wasn't fair? It was whether it is, or was it because of the industry I'm in? With everything going on right now.
What are your thoughts on that as far as the power that people have online? I mean, they can go in, like you said, this totally false claim, and they essentially damage your business with no repercussion, just...
I wish we could do the same to customers.
Make it fair.
I mean, make it fair, Fortunately for us, when we've gotten those reviews, our customers have taken care of it.
Meaning they kind of jump on and say, I shop here. Okay.
They jump on board and have been very protective, which is great. But it's still, you try your hardest, and then you get this, and you're like going, oh, well, that kind of hurt. Okay.
It really, and I hate it because I've had one of those before. Same thing, just a total. Well, no, that's actually worse. I've never been called that. I've never been. Yeah. But anyway, it was kind of hurtful because it was like, you try to do everything you can to provide the best service you can.
Oh, yeah.
And people they act like you're not a person when it comes to the internet. It's like you're some huge corporation. And I don't know. There's just such this crazy, I don't know.
There's a power behind sitting behind a keyboard and not doing it face to face.
Right. It's dangerous in some ways.
It is. It's very dangerous. They have... don't even get me going.
Sore subject.
I mean, we can't live without it. We can't live with it.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It can be really tough.
Yeah, because sometimes
you have to laugh, or it just eat you up.
You have to laugh. Yeah. Did that one kind of hit you pretty?
That one hit me hard because I'm like going, okay, so I'm racist against my grandchildren. I mean, I just, it was so, and the women. Excuse me. We've got we're owned by women.
Yeah.
So it was just totally 100% not true. And I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, you're almost powerless.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling. Yeah. Especially that one that is that blatantly untrue.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I think people see things now and they see the hundreds of good reviews and they realize there's a couple crazies.
You're gonna have bad reviews.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you're gonna have bad reviews. You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And some people you'll never be able to please.
Yeah.
And so when you go in and you look at other reviews these people have done and they're all negative, you're like, okay, I guess we're in a good crew then.
Yeah. Yeah. You can kind of see the patterns.
Yeah.
So how do you build a happy, healthy team and keep them going? Like, how do you train them to care about the customers, to offer great service? How did you build that culture?
Lead by example.
Okay.
Lead by example. How you treat them is hopefully how they're going to treat the customer. And so I feel we treat our employees very well and take care of them. And so I think that just kind of feeds. If you have a good, healthy environment here, it's gonna feed into the customers and stuff.
Right.
If you're beating them up all the time, it's not going to do them any good.
Yeah, because they're going to be not happy. Yeah.
You want them happy.
Yeah, I find sometimes you treat them well, and you just care about them. They'll want to do good for you.
Just a little thing, like we'll buy lunch for them. We've got these really cool shirts we just got in, and normally they're in their red polos, and these are just kind of fun retro Hawaiian print shirts. And we gave them all a couple of shirts, and we just wear them for the summer. Have fun.
Yeah.
Just dumb little things like that.
Just let them know you care.
Just let them know we care.
Just going out of the extra mile.
Yeah.
Has there been anything, a time when you just thought it was terrible? Like you're like, I can't do this. I want to get out of here. Because it's usually a journey like this, up and down.
It's up and down. Walking away from it, no. No. There's too much rewards in it.
Yeah.
So makes up for it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
How do you define success? Like, do you feel like you're successful? Do you feel like you're still trying to get there?
Success for me is not based on monetary. It's based on how I feel inside. And if I feel good and I feel good with myself and how I treat other people, that's a success. Because money can come and go. That can't.
Right.
Or I hope it doesn't, anyways.
Yeah.
But do I think I have a successful business? Yeah. I hope it keeps going.
Yeah, but you feel successful.
I feel successful.
You feel like you're doing good, and
I feel like I've accomplished quite a bit.
And what are your goals for Ted's?
To keep growing.
Keep growing.
Yeah.
What does that look like? More facilities? More.
We've had people approaching us. We have people in Utah that have talked to us. We have some people in Vegas that have talked to us about building a range. We've had people in the industry come up and say, we need to build another range like yours, that go all over the place and go in other ranges and said, there's just a feel. We treat this like a big family. So there's kind of a different, I like to say, and people have said there's a different feel in this range than most ranges.
So I've probably only been in 4, and 3 of them were in Jersey as a younger kid. But yeah, I remember it was not what I expected when I walked in. It was very clean and bright, and the employees, the team, I had like 3 people ask if I needed to be helped.
Yeah.
While I was waiting to introduce myself, and so I think you figured out a little bit of a recipe there.
We have, and I hope it sticks. It's good. No, it has been. So we just hope it just keeps growing. We've thought about franchising. Makes me a little nervous because if it's in Vegas or somewhere else, it's like a little harder to keep an eye on making sure it's being run the way we want it run.
So the axe throwing things that are happening. I interviewed a guy up in Utah. He started one called Heber Hatchets. It's in Heber, Utah. Anyway,
I know where Heber is.
Oh, so I'm from Heber.
Okay.
Well, I'm not from there. That's where I live.
So my family, I have a sister and a brother in Daniels.
Oh, that's I'm
right there.
They're probably like 3 minutes from me.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I grew up in Jersey, but that's where I've been the last 10 years. Great little town.
Oh, it's fun.
Great town. But he started this, Heber Hatchets, and then he expanded, and now, within a year they had 7 locations. And we were talking about that same thing because he said the hardest thing with the franchising has been, you open one in Washington and you're just not there, and you have to put all your trust in someone to manage it. And
it's scary.
It is.
It's really scary because the gun industry, doesn't have it has a good reputation, but not the best. It's a good old boy.
Yeah.
And we've kind of taken that good old boy and thrown it out the window here.
Yeah, trying to essentially kind of change the industry and kind of steer it more like
very family.
Yeah.
Very your neighborhood. When Ted started, he wanted it to be a neighborhood shooting range, and that I think we've done very good at doing what he wanted.
So you've thought about franchising, but you're going, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're just still kicking it around.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you give us some business advice? Something that, or 1 or 2 things that you've learned, over the last few years that if someone said, hey, I want to start a business. Oh, come here, let me tell you this.
Be flexible. Because you never know where a good thing's going to come from. You just don't know. I mean, if you would have told me 10 years ago, Amanda and I would be really good friends and that we would be running this business. No, because we're opposite.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm 20 some odd years older than her. And so, I would have laughed at him. But we both saw an opportunity and we took it and weren't afraid to take it and work together.
So by flexible, you mean, don't just kind of stick to, be willing and open to other opportunities.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to set a thing out. This is who I am. This is what I want to do.
Well, you have these goals.
Yes, the goals.
And if you're not flexible and you just stick with those goals, where else are you going to go? If something else comes along that could be better or feed into this, you got to be able to be flexible.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
No one's ever said that on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a new one.
I have these goals and I'm set and this is the way it's going to go. Well, what if you get a curveball thrown in there?
Yeah.
You never know. And if you're so rigid, it's going to just, in some cases, I think it just destroys businesses because they can't see beyond that goal that they had set. So the flexibility, I think.
That's a great answer. I love it. Do you have time to take trips and take days off, or are you just working around the clock?
I still have a place in Southern California that I like to try and get away to. Because of COVID, we had COVID last year, so we usually try and take 1 or 2 big dive trips somewhere.
Wow.
But last year, because of COVID, we didn't make it. The year before, my father passed away. The year before that, my mom passed away. So the last 3 years, no, I'd spent some time in California, but
nothing fun.
No, I go down for fun.
Okay.
It's fun. I'm right down there in San Clemente, and we go down.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an avid road biker, and
oh, really?
yeah.
Wow.
So,
do you have a good dive story, or what's been a good dive experience that you could come to?
Probably my favorite's been Bon Air.
Tell us about it.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Lots of shore diving.
Where is Bon Air? I have no idea what we're talking about.
It's called the ABC Islands. It's off of the coast of Argentina, down that way. Just beautiful sand.
Wow.
On the surface, it looks just like Arizona. I mean, I walked off the plane and went, oh, we're still
home.
in Arizona, including the mules and donkeys walking around. But it was just beautiful underneath the water, just absolutely beautiful. Dive, you'd have to talk to Amanda. She lived that life for 2.5 years.
Wow, just going around and
Yeah,
diving.
she was in Costa Rica, Honduras, and then 11 months in Jordan, diving the Red Sea. So yeah, she'd have the good dive stories.
Do you guys get respect as women? I know sometimes there are things where it's just this.
We've had to earn it.
That's my question. Yes,
We've had to earn it. Our first year at SHOT Show was really funny, because it was our first year there. We were both of us had just become owners, and we were there doing our thing. And we walked up to a manufacturer, and I was behind Amanda, and she was in front of me, and she walked up and she goes, I'd like to get information on becoming a dealer. And the guy looked right at her and he goes, well, I'll give it to your husband when he gets here. Mm-hmm. And she goes, number one, I'm not married. Number two, and it's probably one of the few times I've actually heard her say, I'm the owner.
Wow.
She goes, and number two, I'm the owner. And I came up behind her and she goes, number three, she's one of the majority owners, and neither of our husbands are in this business. And the guy was just like,
Yeah.
But we've got a name. We've built a name, a lot of respect. Amanda is very, very knowledgeable about product. That's why we have her doing the inventory.
Sure.
And so we've earned our respect.
Wow.
So it's been fun.
Yeah, because is this a predominantly a male industry? Or
Yeah.
I mean, when you think gun club, and again, you mentioned earlier, you're trying to break down these stereotypes and these false things, but that's kind of the first thing that comes to my thoughts. That's where a bunch of guys hang out and shoot.
Well, yeah.
But there's a lot of women that come here shoot.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, women shoot for free here all day long.
Really?
And so they love it because they come in here and they're treated with not that the other ones don't treat them with respect, but we don't treat them like they're stupid. And we treat everybody the same. And we don't have this, my guys don't have, and gals, because I do have gals working for us, aren't arrogant. And there is no such thing as a stupid question in this store. And you can ask anything you want, and we don't answer you like you're stupid.
So kind of back to what you said, a person's a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Person's
you see.
a person.
Yeah, whether it's race or sex. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So.
What is it like doing this and having grandkids?
It's a lot of fun.
How old are your grandkids?
My oldest one is going to be 13.
Okay, so they're getting up there. So do they say, hey, Grandma, let's go to the shooting range? Or?
They just come down and have fun with Grandma.
Really?
Yeah, my son and my oldest grandson, they come every Wednesday morning before he goes to school, and they shoot some rounds down the lanes. So it's been fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not typical things you do with Grandma.
No.
I never shot a gun with my grandma.
I'm not a typical grandma.
Do you have any promotions or specials happening now, or do you guys not do that type of thing? Is it more just
we do the ladies' day,
and that's what day?
Tuesdays and Thursdays all day, and then Black Friday we have sales then.
Okay.
We're getting ready to have a big sale in our dive shop.
Cool.
Promoting that, helping get that going a little more. So
awesome.
Make it fun.
So you're stuck on an island, and you can bring one book, one album, and one gun. Which would you bring?
The Book of Mormon. As being a Mormon.
And why that book?
It's a story, in a sense. A lot of peace when I read that book.
Okay.
So probably that book.
Yeah.
I could read it over and over again and get something different out of it every time I read it.
For sure.
What was the second one?
Album.
Oh my gosh. Boy, it's hard to say. I've got a lot of fun ones.
You can pick a couple, just to give us an idea of what you like.
I like Journey.
Okay.
Journey, and I loved Supertramp growing up.
There you go, Supertramp.
So those two. A
awesome.
gun.
And which gun would you bring?
Probably a CZP-10.
Okay, what can you describe that over the air somehow?
It's a semi-automatic. Looks kind of like a Glock, but better.
Okay.
Just a nice gun, nice feel. I enjoy that gun. Probably one of my favorite guns.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you
so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Liz at Ted's shooting range. And we're not in Mesa. It's
it's Queen Creek.
Queen Creek. Yeah, it's all blends, guys.
Yeah. Gilbert's right across the street, and Mesa's right up here. So we're kind of in the corner.
Queen Creek, Arizona.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next episode of The Company Next Door.
Thank you.